Must watch. Insane debate between Carson and Waters proves the worst about Mad Maxine. Representative Maxine Waters is a known sufferer of Trump derangement syndrome. The Congresswoman has called for President Trump's impeachment many times and has trashed his cabinet on multiple occasions. Secretary of Housing and Urban Development Ben Carson has frequently been a target of her. Earlier this year, she vowed to take his butt apart when she had an opportunity to question him in Congress. Carson testified before the House Financial Services Committee on Thursday, and the two finally had their debate, if you could call it that. Waters continued to interrupt Carson, putting words in his mouth to try to prove that he was criticizing President Trump. Check this out here. Bear with me. Sorry about that.
The housing crisis that we have. But since the president was busy tweeting this morning, and you referred to HUD's role in dealing with the hurricane disasters and what you and the administration are doing, this morning, Trump threatened to abandon Puerto Rico recovery efforts. President Trump served notice Thursday that he may pull back federal relief workers from Puerto Rico, effectively threatening to abandon the U.S. territory amid a staggering humanitarian crisis in the aftermath of Hurricane Maria. In a trio of tweets he wrote, "We cannot keep FEMA, the military, and the first responders who have been amazing in Puerto Rico forever." On Thursday, he sought to shame the territory for its own plight. He tweeted, "Electric and all infrastructure was disaster before hurricanes." So you talked about what HUD, is doing in cooperation with, I guess, the administration. Do you agree with the president?
I certainly agree that Puerto Rico is a very important territory. The people from Puerto Rico have contributed greatly to the culture of America.
Well, I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about is these tweets where the president threatened to abandon Puerto Rico recovery efforts. Do you agree that they should be abandoned, that Puerto Rico should be abandoned?
Well, first of all, as I was saying, Puerto Rico is a very important part of our culture.
No, I know it's important, but I want to know whether or not
them.
you agree with the president who's threatening to abandon Puerto Rico recovery efforts.
I think I just said I have no intention of abandoning Puerto Rico. They're a very important part of who we are.
So you don't agree with the president? He tweeted, "Electric and all infrastructure was a disaster before the hurricanes, and sought to shame the territory for its own plight." Do you share that opinion?
Why not just say yes?
I think that our job is to make sure that we take care of the disaster that has occurred.
So you don't agree that it should be abandoned, is that right?
Of course it should not be abandoned.
And you don't think that they should be shamed for its own plight, is that right?
There is no question that there have been a lot of difficulties in Puerto Rico that ended up.
Should they be shamed for its own plight?
And debt.
Why not I would say yes.
It's beneficial to go around shaming people in general.
Okay, so I'm glad to hear you don't agree with the president.
She put words in his mouth, but again, I agree with Trump. There's a limit to how much you can do. We're not going to rebuild the whole country. It wasn't rebuilt in the first place. So what, you have to rebuild it? Who's going to pay for it? Who's going to pay for it? I'm not saying don't help the people, but I also agree with what Trump said. Waters begins by asking Carson, okay, we all heard that. Okay, so, okay, now here's the thing. President Trump never said he would abandon Puerto Rico, right? Okay. He said that we cannot keep FEMA, the military, and first responders in Puerto Rico forever, right? That's basically it. Okay. Does this mean he's abandoning Puerto Rico? No. It means that it says the personnel for emergency relief cannot stay in Puerto Rico forever, and the island's government needs to start getting things back on track. Correct. I agree. Maxine Waters already started from a false premise and tried to trip Ben Carson up, interrupting him multiple times so he could never get his point across. This shows poor leadership from Waters and a strong bent for partisanship and dishonesty. Luckily, Carson kept his cool and stayed calm the entire time. Think it's time for Mad Maxine to retire? Yeah, but again, why not just confront her? Confront her. Why play games and, go around and around? Say, we're going to help you up to a point. But after that, the government's on its own. The island's government is on its own. It needs to start getting things, like it says, back on track. We're not responsible for everything. The shaming, yes, your infrastructure, just like the rest of the world over here, through Obama, our infrastructure is a disaster, right? So what? Who's going to pay for it all? Obama was just too busy taking vacations. Why not just confront her straight up? I mean, I just don't get it. I don't get it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And again, thank you so much for watching.